Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Sometimes when I read some statements made by some I'm thinking, how in the hell these guys dare to show up in front of the cameras? How much chutzpah and what kind of thick skin they should have to come over there, make the statements, and if they believe in the statements, that means they're retards. If they don't believe in the statements but say them, they must think that we are the retards. Or maybe they do it because they think that they would somehow benefit their cause. I always have them on levels, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, level 1, very retard. Level 2, level 3. This is right here, an article coming from the New Voice of Ukraine, with some statements, I would call them, desires, wishes from the Ukraine's Defense Ministry that are really, really level 1, full retard. So let's read this garbage. The New Voice of Ukraine, January 20th, 2024. Ukraine's Defense Ministry calls for Russia to relinquish nuclear weapons in post-war negotiations. I mean, please. I mean, look at this guy's face. I mean, what do you want? Probably he's a colonel or something, or maybe even worse. Look at this round head. Jesus Christ, my friends. What do you mean? This is... they want in the post-war negotiations the Russians to give up their nuclear weapons? Yes, that's exactly what they want. Plus, as a sign of goodwill, give the US full, unlimited access to your resources. Basically, they're going to appoint the guys to send them for free your oil, gas, and any other coal or wood from Siberia and whatever else you might have. Diamonds or who knows what. This, and the Russian will say, davai. Okay, let's go, let's do it. This kind of statements would make a good Russian fight harder. Not harder. Let's read this. I didn't read the article because I'm curious what this guy's name is and what rank he has. All right, let's see. In the best case scenario for ending a full-scale war, Russia must lose its status of a nuclear state. Deputy Defense Minister of Ukraine Ivan Gavril, said in an interview with Tagesspiegel on January 19th. So, you want them to do that? Why? Let's see what could be the reasoning. They invaded unprovoked a sovereign country. Okay, well, if you do that, then you have to strip the United States of America, France, Great Britain as well. Or maybe Israel. No? All right, well, moreover, if we are about being an aggressor, then the only country in the world who dropped atomic bombs was your boss. So, big, smaller. So however you want to take it, the Russians did not use those yet. So they are a little bit higher in the realm of morality than these guys. However you want to take it, 2 atomic bombs, 2 civilian cities, war crime. And they wouldn't have stopped there. Remember, that's the problem. They would not have stopped there. They said, we're going to continue bombing one after another until you surrender unconditionally. That was the blackmail. Well, saved our boys' lives and shortened the war in the East. Correct. Can we use the same logic for the Russians? If they would do the same thing the Americans did, the war would be shortened, definitely, and a lot of their boys would be saved. You see, if you make a rule, or you have to use it on, you can just here, but here, we call it here good, but over there is bad, because there's not a rule, it's not just, it's not fair. Okay, let's go back here. I don't know what rank this guy has yet, but we're going to find out. There should be a complete liberation of Ukrainian territory from Russian forces within the internationally recognized borders of 1991. Why not 1916? I want with the recognized borders of 1916 of Ukraine. I demand that. There was no Ukraine in 1916. Why? Remember, this is fresh because I had an article that I want to cover regarding this issue about Lenin, Mr. Ulyanov, the 1/4 Russian Ulyanov, half and a quarter Lutheran. Okay, so he was 1/4 Russian. Stalin was 0 Russian. Trotsky was 0 Russian. Kaganovich was 0 Russian. Yogoda was 0 Russian. And we can go on and on and on. Hey, zip it, Emil. You're talking too much and people might connect dots here. We're not supposed to do that here. We can't go full retard here, okay? Sometimes we touch that, but not today. So yeah, I want that to happen. About Ukraine. Ukraine declared after the first revolution in Tsarist Russia, Ukraine was formed. Say, we're going to do this and so on. And then guess who came over, Red Rover? Trotsky. You know Trotsky? Mr. Bronstein. Yeah, he came and said with the Red Army, he put together the Red Army. Trotsky. And Trotsky came and said, no, Ukraine, we're going to fuck you up. That's what they did. So Ukraine's independence was screwed up by a Zelensky Stein. Got that? Actually, 2. If you take that half of Mr. Ulyanov was also Trotsky Stein. Man, if you know history, you're going to find certain things that make sense. Who was in charge of Soviet Union? Who did that? I was about committed. I can say committed that atrocity of Soviet Union. Many Russians. Yeah, get their names, please. And you're going to find how many there were. I think 20% of the leaders. That was a tragedy for the Russians. At the same time, he says, all wars end at negotiating table. Correct. Where documents are signed. Or total elimination. There's no more negotiations. America, see, it said here, all wars. Not all wars end negotiating table. Because if you remember on the 2nd of September, 1945, on USS blah, 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 what delegations showed up in the Yokohama harbor? The Japanese. And what they do? Signed a document, not in negotiate. It was not a negotiating table. There was an imposed capitulation. They didn't negotiate anything like, hey, we're gonna, yeah, okay, I'm gonna give you this. That's a negotiation. It was not negotiation. So fuck you, imbecile. But anyway, that's one example. I can give you more than that if you want. Look at the First World War. Another negotiation with the armistice. And they negotiated a lot. My God. I'm quoting. Agreements will be signed on one side by the coalition of states supporting Ukraine and on the other side by Russia. No, Russia, Iran, Venezuela, China, maybe India, Brazil, who knows, North Korea, all these guys are going to sign. Yeah, okay. But like they're idiots. You know, all these countries that I mentioned, they know that if Russia is taken by those guys, they will be fucked. So they will not allow that to happen. They will send their own troops in Russia to defend the Russians from collapsing against these weasels in the NATO. This document should include a clause, he said, on Russian abandonment of nuclear weapons because the state is a threat to the world. That's a threat to the world, not the ones that used atomic weapons? Are you crazy? I mean, it's like someone who never committed a rape and you're going to cut his balls off and his cock off. But the guy who committed 2 of them 2 days apart, right? 6 and 9, it was 6 and 9, that's 3 days, and right? After those days, 2 rapes in 3 days, you did not snip his balls and his cock? How is that, Mr. Havriluk? No, how does it work? The same with Iran. Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. But the other guys did it twice. Why does he have it? And we're expected to like this kind of rule-based world order. Sorry, didn't get my name on that one. Havriluk stated that preventive mechanisms should be established to prevent Russia from preparing for an attack on Ukraine or any other neighboring country again. But why is the United States not prevented from doing that after they bombarded illegally Yugoslavia? Nobody did anything to it. Moreover, they invaded Iraq with lies, then Afghanistan, then bombarded Libya, then Syria. They didn't stop. They have a record. They have a pattern. Hey, Havriluk, call Washington, D.C. Hello. While Ukrainian intelligence reported the increased nuclear weapons verification and pop. All right, it doesn't matter. Let's see who this guy, maybe we see who this guy is. Oh, not like that. Ukraine approves that. No. I'm going to go on. I don't think I'm going to find him on Wikipedia or anything because you know how things are. So this is what I found about Ivan Havriluk. He's just Deputy Minister of Defense, Ukraine, Kiev. I didn't find any ranks, whatever, National Defense University of Ukraine, but he must have a rank somewhere, but I couldn't find. Only Chief of, Deputy Chief of General Staff, Chief, but advisor to the advisor. I didn't find any appointed Deputy Minister. No, as I said, Deputy Ministers. Nevertheless, that's beyond the point. He's just the one who's just parroting something that he was given to read. Those things were given from far away, not from Ukraine. So yeah, good luck with that. And the Russians will just relinquish their nuclear weapons because why? Everything that the Russians did at wars, other countries on Havriluk's side did. What are I talking about? I mean, if you want to give at least the pretense that you are fair, at least, formulate it differently, but what's the argumentation? So we can make it not to attack us again unprovoked? Is that what it is? Was it unprovoked? No. I mean, why? You have so many reasons. Why don't you ask the other side? It's like, for instance, you just show up as a police officer, let's say, in a domestic violence incident, and you just listen to one person telling you, hey, she smacked me unprovoked. Don't you go and ask the other side, hey, what happened? And the other person goes, well, I did this because he did this and did. Oh, okay. So you find out the truth is somewhere in the middle, but somehow here is just unprovoked, 100%. Did you ask the Russians? Don't bother. We know they're lying because we tell the truth. We always get with this self-appointed virtuosity, or how should I put it, fantastic position that some ascribe to themselves, only to themselves, and they appoint them as being the ones in charge of giving everybody ranks. Like you are but who the hell appointed you over there? You know what? Who appointed this? So, but they tell us about the rule-based world order, please. So Russia will never agree to that unless the people who would do such a thing are traitors. I mean, would you do that? Would the United States do that? And if not, why not? Imagine North Korea. South Korea is not allowed to have shit because South Korea has bosses. North Korea has no bosses. That's one of their differences. But you're free. South Korea, you're free. But you have bosses. North Korea is not free, is isolated, but doesn't have any boss. Yeah, if North Korea tomorrow will give up its nuclear weapons, the next day we're going to have American forces, South Korean forces being in Pyongyang. Or at least they will try to. But it's going to be easier. They will talk differently with the North Koreans. You have nuclear weapons? What are you going to do? That. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.